Council of Europe has 47 member states. It was founded on May 5, 1949 by 10 European states. Greece and Turkey joined 3 months later, and Iceland and Germany the next year. It now has 47 member states, with Montenegro being the latest to join. Article 4 of the Council of Europe Statute specifies that membership is open to any European state. As a result, nearly all European states have acceded to the Council of Europe, with the exception of Belarus, Kazakhstan, Vatican City and some other states with limited recognition. List. Applicants. Special guest status with the Parliamentary Assembly was established in 1989, as a provisional status in the accession process for parliaments of European non-member states, which applied for membership in the Council of Europe. The aim of the special guest status is to foster closer relations with the national parliaments of the European non-member states, by enabling the parliament concerned to be represented in, and work with, the Assembly, especially in determining the accession conditions. Belarus applied for full membership on March 12, 1993, and its parliament held special guest status with the Parliamentary Assembly from September 1992 to January 1997. The special guest status was however suspended as a consequence of the November 1996 constitutional referendum introducing death penalty, and parliament by-elections which the CO found to be undemocratic, as well as enforced limits on democratic freedoms such as freedom of expression under the administration of President Alexander Lukashenko. A second change of the Belarus constitution in October 2004, moreover does not respect minimum democratic standards and violates the principles of separation of powers and the rule of law. In June 2009, PACE decided that the suspension of the Belarusian parliamentary Euro-unregistered trademark S special guest status in the Assembly would only be lifted conditional of the government imposing a moratorium on the death penalty. As of May 2013, this condition had not been met. Kazakhstan applied for the special guest status with the Parliamentary Assembly in 1999. The Assembly found that Kazakhstan could apply for full membership, because 4% of its territory, west of the Ural River, is located in Europe, but granting special guest status would require improvements in the fields of democracy and human rights. Kazakhstan signed a cooperation agreement with the Assembly in April 2004. In November 2006, the Kazakhstan parliament officially asked to be granted observer status with the Assembly, which however never was granted due to requiring a pre-compliance with all core values and principles. The country acceded to the Council of Europe European Cultural Convention on February 24, 2010. On 15 March 16, 2010, the President of the Council of Europe's Parliamentary Assembly made an official visit to Kazakhstan, resulting in the conclusion that the Council of Europe and Kazakhstan strengthened their relations. This milestone emboldens Kazakhstan's Path to Europe program, as outlined by Kazakh President Nursultan Nazarbayev in Astana in 2008. In December 2013, a joint declaration on enhancing cooperation between Kazakhstan and the Council of Europe in 2014-15, was signed with the purpose of paving the way for Kazakhstan's accession to the Council of Europe's multiple conventions in the field of criminal justice. Hasan Thor Section I, Kosovo's Minister of Foreign Affairs, stated in December 2014 that an application for membership of the Council of Europe was planned to be filed within the first quarter of 2015. Observers. Observer status was designed for non-European democracies willing to contribute to democratic transitions in Europe. Canada, Japan, Mexico, the US and the Holy See have observer status with the Council of Europe and can participate in the Committee of Ministers and all intergovernmental committees. They may contribute financially to the activities of the Council of Europe on a voluntary basis. The parliaments of Canada, Israel and Mexico have observer status with the Parliamentary Assembly and their delegations can participate in assembly sessions and committee meetings. Representatives of the Palestinian Legislative Council may participate in assembly debates concerning the Middle East as well as Turkish Cypriot representatives from northern Cyprus concerning this island. There has been criticism concerning the observer status of Japan and the United States because both countries apply the death penalty. the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe has been lobbying for the United States and Japan to abolish the death penalty or lose their observer status. The Council also voted to restore special guest status to Belarus, on condition that Belarus declare a moratorium on the death penalty. Partners: in May 2009, the Parliamentary Assembly established a new status for institutional cooperation with parliaments of non-member states and neighboring regions wishing to be supported by the Parliamentary Assembly in their democratic transitions and to participate in the political debate on common challenges. The new status is called Partner for Democracy, and interested states could obtain it if they commit to embrace the values of the Council of Europe such as pluralist democracy, the rule of law and respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. To encourage a moratorium on executions and abolish the death penalty. To organize free and fair elections. To become party to the relevant co-conventions. To utilize the expertise of the Assembly and the Venice Commission in its institutional and legislative work. CO has adopted the policy of dialogue with the neighboring regions of the southern Mediterranean, the Middle East and Central Asia based on respect for universal human rights. Following this policy, the Assembly has already established working contacts with parliaments of neighboring countries other than those of the co-observers, Algeria, Kazakhstan, Morocco, Tunisia and the Palestinian Legislative Council. Several of these parliaments have expressed interest in upgrading the status of the existing cooperation, and in establishing a relationship on a permanent basis. Since 1994, the parliaments of the countries bordering the Council of Europe member states have the possibility of concluding special cooperation agreements with the Assembly, but it has not generated much interest among the parliaments concerned, which suggests that it does not offer sufficient clarity and visibility. So far only the Kazakhstan parliament had taken advantage of it since 2004. In November 2006, the Kazakhstan parliament officially asked to be granted observer status with the Assembly. Such formal or informal requests are made by a number of parliaments that are already cooperating with it but think that the institutionalized recognition of that cooperation could make it more visible, more coherent and more effective. However, the observer status is considered inappropriate in these cases, as it requires that the state receiving it already complies with the core values and principles, which is not the case for the states currently requesting it, who are in the early stages of democratic transition. The newly established Partner for Democracy status is similar to the cooperation initiatives of other intergovernmental organizations of mostly European states such as the European Neighborhood Policy of the EU, the Partners for Cooperation of OSCE, the cooperation with non-member states of NATO. The national parliaments eligible to request a Partner for Democracy status are from the following countries: Southern Mediterranean and Middle East participants in the Union for the Mediterranean, Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine and maybe Libya. Central Asian participants in the OSCE, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. Other states if the Bureau of the Assembly so decides. As of 2015, the following parliaments have been accorded Partner for Democracy status: Morocco, June 2011, Palestinian National Council, October 4, 2011, Kyrgyzstan, April 8, 2014. References